All right, we are going to get started. Again, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me today for our Knack 101 webinar. Who am I? My name is Ro, and I am part of the onboarding team here at Knack. We help our customers who are just new getting started with Knack figure out if Knack's going to work for what you're trying to build, as well as helping you get onboarded to the product. So again, thank you for joining me today. Um, So what can we expect today in the webinar? We're going to discuss a little bit about what you can build with Knack, and then we're going to walk through a demo of a template app, and then we're also going to do some live building with that. And then if there's time at the end, we will open it up for live Q&A. I always have a ton to talk about, so if there are no questions, that's okay. I will, like as I said, have a ton to talk about. You'll notice we have this chat area and we also have a Q&A area. I will be taking a look at that periodically to see if you have any questions, but feel free, share any questions there. Also share your use case. I will take a look at that towards the end of the webinar and see if I can answer any questions or dive into any specific builds that you have and demo that on this during the webinar today if possible. So again, feel free, submit those questions in that Q&A or the chat section. And another heads up, this will be recorded. So if you miss a part or you'd like to review a part, you will receive a link to the recording of this webinar upon completion. And again, I see some more people joining, so thank you for joining me today. All right, so if you are new coming to Knack and you're trying to figure out what is it that you can build with Knack, there is a ton of things you can build with Knack. In general, Knack is a no-code platform that basically gives you a blank slate, and then you are building what you need with our product. So we've got custom business applications, everything from customer portals to educational resources, mobile web-based applications that are mobile friendly, and custom forms and surveys. So let's kind of break that down. What do we mean by each one of these elements here of custom business applications? Project management tools, CRMs, customer portals. You can create client dashboards and manage support tickets within Knack. You can manage events. You can do things like creating lesson plans and manage things like webinars within Knack. And anything from inventory management to asset management as well within our platform. What more can you do? We've got e-commerce functionality within our platform. We integrate with Stripe and PayPal, so if you wanted to manage purchase orders, you can definitely do that. Or setting up a payment form or some sort of payment gateway, you could. And further, we are not mobile applications that you would find in an app store, but we are our web app that would be viewable on your mobile devices. So it'll be responsive to your mobile device, but further mobile also meaning on the go. So if you need to have you have a group of sales reps that are in the field and you want them to be able to access their information, their jobs within a Knack application, you could, and it's going to adjust to their screen size so they can view that on a mobile device, a phone, a tablet, or a laptop. And again, custom forms and data sharing and some information there as well. All right, so in general, just before we dive into things, I like to talk about how you can get support as you're building out your application, or if you're needing help to validate your use case to make sure Knack can fit what you're trying to do. We are available to you Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's USA. So feel free, reach out to us. And how can you reach out to us? You can reach out to us at onboarding@knack.com. We're here to help validate. We're happy to jump on a call and discuss your use case in more detail, as well as offer some free training if you need an additional hour of free training. We're here to support. We've also got some information here within our knowledge base, and I'll show you how to get to our knowledge base here in a little bit. but you can also work with our support team as well. Anyone from the team can assist you with any questions that you have. And there's different tiers available, support tiers available with the different plans that we have, and we can discuss that in a little bit. All right. So let's get into it. So today we're going to take a look at a custom CRM. So there's a lot of flavors of CRMs. In this particular demo, we're going to go through a sales CRM. So it's a sales that takes you through a pipeline. But CRMs can really be anything within Knack. Just because we're demoing our sales CRM here, if you will, you can envision it for an employee or a contact manager, where you're managing your contacts, or a company with their contacts, or if you're part of a school and you want to manage your staff, or you want to manage your team, and you have a CRM and you want to track information related to a user or a group. This is pretty much the structure is in place here. The words, what we're using here today, are interchangeable, but with Knack, you can pretty much build out a CRM based on your needs. Today, we're going to look at the custom CRM template app. Once we take a look at that, we're also going to dive into a popular topic here, which is pipeline statuses and stages. A lot of times we have people come into Knack and they want to take a record or a user or a contact through some sort of pipeline or some sort of stage. So in sales, you might see them start as a lead. You send a quote, and then maybe they move to a custom closed won state or a closed lost state. So that might be moving them through a pipeline. Or think of it, if you will, if you're doing something like project management and you want to move a project or the tasks or the milestones via a status, whether it's pending, it's in progress, it's been completed, or it's blocked. Those things are moving things through stages or pipelines, and the way you set that up within Knack is pretty much the same. And we'll talk about that as we dive into our custom CRM as well. The custom CRM also includes functionality in terms of tracking notes and information. So again, if you're working with like a student portal and you wanted to track grades or homework or lessons, you would do something similar that we're going to see here with the contact that has a relationship with notes. All right, so we're going to dive into this a little bit. I'm going to turn my camera off so we can get a little bit more focus. We're going to take a look at a Knack application, our custom CRM template app. So one moment here. All right, so hopefully everyone's able to see my screen. We are taking a look at a live app within Knack, and this again is our sales CRM. And we're going to log in as a sales rep. So one of the nice things about Knack is you can create login pages. You can place your app behind a login and have your users that are going to be accessing the live app authenticate before they log in. So we're going to log in as a sales rep just to see what a rep might see within the platform. So as we log into Knack, this is a page, and this page has a lot of views. You can see we have navigation up here. We've got links to take us to view more information or edit a status. And we've got some buttons here as well. So again, all of this information here is a view. We have a variety of ways of displaying data within Knack, and this is a few views on a page that allow us to do so. So we've got like a rich text field that we can get some header tags. We've got a menu view, which is where we're managing our buttons. And then we've got this grid view here that's giving us a table view of all of our records within the system. Now we have additional views like reporting views and grid, not grid views, but calendar views, search views. So we will dive into the build and all in the views and the different type of views that you have to display your data within your live app in a moment here. But this is what a Knack app looks like. And we're looking at pages and pages with views on those pages and action links. So what can we do? What can our rep do within this dashboard? They are able to look at information that's related to them. They can see what current tasks that they have and due dates, and they can edit the status of this. I think I'm going to get that little pop-up here. So my apologies. I haven't yet quite figured out how to turn that off. But we can add a note here, we can add some information here, and hit submit to update that information with our note. And this note is just going to stay static because it's just a form that's a part of our details, our task details. We can also add new notes if we wanted to, so we can see the information here. I'm going to add a new note. So Knack gives you form views again to be able to submit information, to be able to track information related to your to our contacts here. But let's really start diving into the workflow of the application. So let's take a look at our leads here. So within Knack, we've got a table here that's showing all of our leads. This is leads that are connected to our logged in rep. So our rep is only seeing the leads that they have access to. And you'll notice we have a variety of field types that you can use within Knack, everything from a name field or a person field, short text fields, phone number fields, emails, links, date fields. We also have equation fields and formula fields, and there's lots of ways to, again, continue to make sure the data goes in the way that you want and you're capturing it the way that you need. We can click a link to view more details about this particular lead, and we could see that information here. And again, you'll see a higher level or more fields here being exposed versus where in our previous view we had only a few fields being shown here. But if we jump into here, we're able to see, hey, we've got more fields here, again, pointing to the different field types that we have, the rating field as well. And we can give our user or logged in rep a way to edit their information. So we can see a form here, we can make changes, or we can make a change, and we can submit that, and we can either reload the form, or we can go back to our previous page where you can see that change was made within the system. We can also see notes attached to this contact that's associated with our rep. So again, if you're working with another type of database, imagine, if you will, if this is a project, we're looking at all the project details, and maybe we're seeing tasks related to the project. So Knack has that relational workflow or relational ability to be able to tie two tables together and then relate the data, so that then you can really get granular and look at a specific record and all of the related pieces tied to it. So in this CRM, we're able to see a contact and all of the different notes and activities tied to this. Now, a couple things that we also can do within here is we can say, let's turn this contact into a proposal. So if I were to jump back over here into our proposal table, we're seeing a couple of different records here. We're seeing two contacts, Linda and Tim, and they are in the proposal stage part of the pipeline. So how do we move this record, and how do we filter this information here and move them over to the proposal pipeline? Within Knack, we've created a way, or within this application, we've created a way to quickly do that. We can say, hey, let's update this one to a proposal. We can add new project, and a description here, and a deliverable. And again, this could be a bit of information that you would like to collect here. I'm going to hit submit, and you'll see I no longer have that lead on my lead table. It has now been moved over here to this table here as a proposal. So as we start to move this record through the pipeline, I want you guys to take note how we're doing, what this looks like, and then we have the different pages at the top there, because once we take a look at the back end, this will start to make a bit more sense. So again, this is what our live app users are interacting with. So we've got a way for our sales reps to log in, add some, update some current tasks. They can look at all of their leads. They can add new leads. Again, we have form views that allow you to add data to your application. And then we can move that lead through a pipeline, so to speak. And our pipeline is here from leads to proposal to, again, a closed won status here as well. And then we can also view that customer with additional details. We can now see if there was a project associated with it, the project. We can also see any notes, and we can also archive this customer. So different actions are available within each one of these. Again, we can view the lead here, and we'll see this particular lead here with some additional information and those related pieces of data. We also have a calendar view, which allows us to say, hey, we want to show our reps a way to see all of their tasks in a calendar. And with Knack's calendar views, you're able to click on these calendar views and see high-level details. We can add links to these views to take us to a page where we can see more information about that, about that record. We can go back to our calendar and continue to look around and dive into each one of these records that are on the calendar. These additionally, just depending upon settings, we can drag and move these around. We don't have that functionality here, but I'll show you how we would customize that within our application. So that is the tour of the sales CRM from the logged in sales rep perspective. Again, with Knack, you can build out portals for different users, give different users different levels of access to your database, and then show them only the information that you want them to see. So again, if you've got a department that has its own projects and you want that department to be able to log in and only see their projects, that can be built with Knack. Same thing here if you're working with our sales reps, and we only want them to see the contacts that they've been assigned, you can do that. So the next thing I'm going to do is sign in as our project manager, or not our project manager, but our sales manager. We want our sales manager to be able to log in and maybe see all of their sales reps and follow along their activity and what they're doing within the platform. So what I can do is I can come in here and I'm actually going to grab a link to log in as a manager. And you'll notice I'm trying to log in the manager, but I don't have access because I'm logged in as a sales rep. So I don't have access to any of the pages that my manager has access to as logged in sales rep. And I will still see the menu up here, the navigation up here that I still have access to. But as soon as I log in as a manager with manager credentials, you can see that menu, that navigation menu changes. This also changes my URL. So if I jump back here a bit, you can see my sales rep doesn't have access to the URL that has the portion of home. So taking a step back, Knack has, to view your app, you have a personalized Knack URL, which you'll see. You'll have your account name, which will be whatever your company or your business may be. You can set that to whatever you need, but then it'll be followed by the .knack.com, and then / you'll see custom CRM template here. That's just pointing to the portion of the URL that is your app name. So you'll have a variety of apps in your account. You may have more than one, and each one will have its own name, and this portion of your URL will point to the app name. And then after that, you've got your hash, and then the actual page that you're on. So for our sales reps that were logged in, this would be the URL that they would use to navigate to their application. For our business sales manager, you can see the URL just updated here to our sales manager URL. Now you can create one landing page or one login page for all of your users. But in this just example here, we're looking at two different URLs. But just wanted to point that out so you're a little bit familiar with how we structure this URL here. So taking a look at now what our sales manager is seeing, we're logged in, and we can see our sales reps in the system. Here's the sales reps that have been signed to Susie, our sales manager. And again, they can dive in to say, okay, who are the contacts related to this particular sales rep? So we can see high level details here of the sales rep, as well as all of the contacts related information here. And we can now dive into each contact and see information related to the contact. And if we wanted to, we can even show those notes and activities that were being tracked here based on the contact. So taking a step back here, again, you'll notice we have links up here that take you back to your previous pages, which is really nice. So you always know exactly where you're at in the app. And again, just take note of what views we're seeing here. Again, I'm going to take another step back. We also have a link to edit. You'll notice we have, as I've been navigating between both of these applications, there's different ways to a page to be displayed. In this example, we are using a pop-up modal that's allowing us to see and edit this form in a pop-up. If we make any changes to this information, let's just say I remove the Z. I can refresh that and you'll see my Z has been removed, and I can land right back on the page. So there's ways you can definitely continue to make it easier for your users of your live app to access or navigate your application. Again, we made this a pop-up. This one is not. It just takes you to a new page. So take note there of those features. Down below, the logged in sales manager can also see the contacts here as well. So they don't necessarily need to dive into each contact record here. Note we are able to even do a total because we have that relationship between the two tables between the sales rep and the contact. We can say, hey, give me a count of all of our contacts associated with Johnny here. And if you remember when we navigated to this page here, we're able to see those 4 contacts in more detail. And then we also have, for this logged in user, they also have access to the calendar, so they can see all of the different events here. And you'll see that this is a filtered calendar, so we're able to see all of the tasks and meetings. We can say we only want to look at tasks only, and we only want to look at meetings only if we have some meetings there. But you can see that this is also another way to filter your information within Knack. All right. We're jumping back here. You'll notice also this is a different way to display a menu view or those buttons. In some of the views you might have seen, or in our previous view, we were able to see in the previous login as a sales rep, we were able to see buttons, those menu views as buttons. Here we're using an underline to be able to distinguish between each one of these options here. So again, just taking note, we can click on one of these links and navigate to different views or pages within our app as well. We've got a pop-up here, and then we can just navigate to this page here where it opens back up. But this is another menu view that is, again, fully customizable. All right, so I'm going to take a quick look here to make sure I'm not missing any questions. Looks like we've got a quiet group here, and that's all good because I have, again, like I said, plenty to talk about, but I will be checking in here in the chat and Q&A section if you've got any questions, or if you want to share your use case. I'm happy to take a look and discuss that while we're going through the webinar here today. All right, so let's take a look at the builder environment with our sales CRM. So we're head to the builder. So if you've gotten started with Knack and you've gotten to just play around with Knack, you've probably landed here in the builder. We are looking at one of our template apps. Template apps are available to you for free. You'll find that in your dashboard. When you go to create an app, you can start with a sample app or a template app, and you can then search our apps and install them for free. Templates are great as a way to learn. They're also great as a way to help you get started, especially if you get familiar with Knack, you get into Knack and you decide, oh, okay, this I can definitely handle building within Knack. So I say use for whatever it makes the most sense. Template apps have a lot of different workflows that they're working through. The CRM is good in showing those stages and those pipelines. You might want to do the project management to understand how to set up the projects and the tasks and how you connect those, or even inventory management if you needed to track inventory on hand. We've even got budget expense tracking. We've got student portals and LMS. So there's lots of different templates for you to get started with. And again, you can use them as a guide as you build out your own app, which is what I would recommend, or you can start with that template app. So taking a look here at the builder environment, let's actually work as if we're going to start with this app and maybe customize it to fit our needs. So again, we are going to work our way from, we're going to work our way down, but we'll go from left to right as we work our way down. And I'm going to show you what features are available within our platform. So tables. Creating tables is pretty straightforward. Your tables are your form. They are your worksheet with your column headers, your form with your fields. If I click on one of these tables here within Knack, you'll see I've got some fields as we go down here. So earlier I mentioned there's a lot of field types that we have available to help you manage and control the data and how it's being entered in by your live app users. So if you wanted to create new tables, you can add a new table by clicking this option here. You'll see the option from scratch or with a table catalog. If you're starting with an import, you can import your information by just dragging and dropping your information there, or you can import from Google Sheets, or you can start by scratch and name your table, or you can work with one of our templated tables that already has fields for you created. So this is how you would create a table from within Knack. Once you've created a table, then it just becomes about adding fields or adding those columns like you would in a spreadsheet. And so you'll see this button here that's going to allow you to add fields. So when I click that add fields, you'll see on the left-hand side here that we have some more settings that open up, or this opens up our field options. So you'll see all of the different field types here, from short text to numbers, multiple choice, all the way down through to link fields, signature fields, that rating field that we saw. And then you'll see this connection field here, which we'll dive into in a little bit. This is how the connection field is how we relate tables. So more on that in just a bit. But these are your field choices. To add a field, you can click on that field. You can name it. You'll notice each one of your fields has its own format settings. So I will encourage you, make sure when you're exploring Knack and you're first just getting started, give yourself time to play around with things and click on things. A template app is a great way to do that too, because it's something that's already built and it gives you an idea of what Knack can do and what's available. So I highly recommend going through and just giving yourself time to play around with all the features. And you can break the template, just break it, then you can delete it and start over again. So give yourself that freedom. So we've got the short text field. You would just click that and it would add this to the bottom of your table. And I'll scroll down here, the short text field. I can go back into the settings that I was just in by just clicking on that field. Now bring up my settings. You'll see we now have some new options to do some validation rules. And you can see those options here. And each rule will have some sort of different potential setting here. You'll see here is not if it's a number. And then you can kind of cue your users on what needs to happen if they enter in the wrong information. That's validation rules. Conditional rules get into the if-then type statements. So when X happens, when this date is today, which you can see here, then take some sort of action. Set this value to active or status to active. So if then statements can be done here. There's also other ways to do conditional rules, but this is one way to do them. So here, validation rules and settings, and all of your field types will have that. So if I jump into my project, my my paragraph text field, you'll see validation and conditional rules. Under my budget, I will have those same things. And again, take note of the different formats that you have available for each field type. I won't go into it, but just so you know that it's there. And again, you can click on this and that will open up those settings. You can also click on these ellipses, the dots here, and that will bring up your settings as well. And you also see the option to change the field type. You can also change the field type by just clicking on the name or the name of that type right here. So that's about fields. Again, you're adding tables and then you start to add your fields, and that helps you to start to build the structure of your tables and what information you want to collect. So again, think of your tables as just a worksheet with its column headers or a form with its fields within Knack. So we can also edit the names. If you wanted to change the name of a table in a template app, you can go into your settings here. You can also get to those settings here. They're the exact same thing. So you click on that and you can see you can change the table name. You can also change which field displays in the drop-down field on your connected tables. What does that mean? That it's something crazy. Yes, I will go into that in a little bit because this display field is actually very important, especially once you get into relating your tables and connections, which I talked about earlier, that we will dive into. So I'm going to exit out of that, but those are your settings for the table itself and being able to update that. And again, you'll have your display field, and then you have your sort order, which is what your drop-down fields will display. Next option here, as we work our way down, is records. Records is going to be all of your records in the database. Again, we're in the designer, the developer area, so there's very little magic that happens here. And when I say magic, I mean workflows, things that you want to trigger. I want to trigger an email when this happens. I want to, set this status to pending, when I submit this form. All of that happens. That workflow, all of those things get set up under pages. Under your pages, then your pages then help you create those workflows that then your users experience in the live app. In terms of where we're at in our builder, this is our design area. This is where we're building out everything. So we will be able to see a high level overview of all of our records that are in our each one of our tables. So as I navigate from table to table, I can see those records. And I also want you to take note, if I'm on my data tab here and I choose to click records here, that's going to take me to the same tab here, records, and I'm going to see my records here. You'll also have an option here for your fields to edit those fields, and that's going to bring up those field settings that we talked about. So some quick links, those can be accessed here from your record view as well. But records, again, this is showing you what's in your database. You can add records from here. You can import your data. And again, you could use a spreadsheet. You can import with Google Sheets, but that can be done here as well. Exporting, you can export your records at any time from your database, and that can be done here. And you have a couple options here on how you want to export that information. I'll pause here to say we also make our APIs available. So if you are a developer or working with a developer and you wanted to bring data in from another system or integrate with another platform, or you wanted to send data out of your Knack application, you could do that with our Knack APIs. We also integrate with a couple of other tools like Zapier or make.com. And Integrately. So if you wanted to connect your platform using another no-code tool to connect to another platform, that may be another avenue for you if you don't want to deal with working with our APIs that way. So lots of options there to bring data into your system, especially if you're migrating from another tool potentially. So you can always import here. Importing is only available in the design area, but you can import your data to migrate, as well as using the APIs or working with one of our with make.com or Zapier. All right, so that is the information here for records. You'll see you can edit records as well back here if you wanted to make changes. You can also, if you're on our Pro plan and above, you can also see the history on a record. So who made changes on that record and what day, the date, what field, what information changed. This is available with our Pro plan and above. All right. Tasks. You won't see tasks in trial, but tasks are great. They're great. They're part of our Pro plan and above. They are ways to automate things within the background within Knack. So if you wanted to trigger an email based on a date, let's say somebody's birthday comes around and you want to send them a note to say, hey, happy birthday, or an expiration date is coming up and you want to send them a reminder that they need to update some information or they need to make a payment, you can trigger an email to be sent then. You can also use a task to update connected records or update the existing record based on whatever event that gets triggered within the system. So if it's a multiple choice field, if it's a date field, if something changes, then you can trigger some sort of action. And that can run daily, weekly, or monthly based on what you set it for. And then every day we'll just check the records for that that event, that trigger. If there's a match, if it's true, then it will take the action that you set up. So again, you can update records, you can update connected records in another table. You can insert connected records and you can send custom emails. So let's say I wanted to trigger to send a note or send this note via email once it's been submitted, that same day, we can set up an action to do something like that. And you can see that you can build out this email and you can say, here's who this is from, here's the email address, here's my recipients, and build out the subject line, and you can merge the values from the Knack fields here into that. So if I wanted to bring in the date or the note or the message or the contact information, I could do that within Knack. So that's a little bit about tasks. Again, you won't see that during the trial. It's available with our Pro plan and above. Continuing to work our way down, and before I jump to pages, I'm actually going to pause here and talk about two things: user roles and connections before we navigate away. So user roles. User roles are how we manage permissions within Knack. The first step of doing that and managing permissions is user roles and setting those up and enabling them within your platform. So in essence, if you're wanting to give access to different user groups and give them different levels of access. Maybe you have editors, maybe you have view-only viewers, and you want them to do just that. You want one group to be able to edit, you want another group to be able to view information. Specific to our custom CRM, we had sales reps, and sales managers, and you could see when they logged in, they could do and view different things. So part of that first step with setting up those permissions is getting the user roles enabled and creating those. When you create a user role, you're just setting up a name, and these user roles have standard fields. These 6 fields can't be removed. Or sorry, 5 fields, 1, 2, 3, for 5, not including this connection field and this count field, but this allows these fields can't be deleted and they're mandatory. So basically they're setting which group, the role that they're part of, what the status is, if they are active or inactive. Inactive would not allow them to log into the system, and pending would do the same. And then obviously the name, email, and password are mandatory. So wanted to make note of that. User roles are very important. I can't stress enough. figure that part out at the very beginning. If you need users to log in, let's create them as a user role table versus as a table up above. And user roles can be treated similar to tables. They can have new fields added to them as well. So keep that in mind. If, let's say, you wanted to, at some point, give your contacts access to the system to be able to view their information. So again, if it's a student portal or parent portal, and you want parents to log in to view their students, you would create them as a user role versus having them set up under tables. Because if we set it up here, then we lose the functionality to do this here. So hold that thought, because we're definitely going to discuss this once we get to pages here in a bit. So again, rule of thumb, if you ever need to give them access, even if it's not right away, I would still recommend creating it as a user role. The other piece I wanted to talk about is the connection piece. And with connections, it's basically the way we tie users together, not users, but tables together within our platform. So for example, when we were looking at our CRM, our sales reps were assigned to contacts. They had contacts that they were responsible for. And so how did we manage that workflow within Knack? We did that by adding what you see over here, a connection field, which is, again, it's just when we look at our fields, it's down here, it's just a field, but it's basically your lookup field. So if you're working with spreadsheets and you're familiar with the lookup field, being able to look up on another worksheet to pull in some information, this is what our connection field is. If you are coming from traditional databases and you're familiar with primary keys and foreign keys, connection field works like a foreign key. You only need one connection to tie two tables. You don't need to place them in both places. You just need to go into that child table, and that's where you add your connection. So for example, if our sales reps are connected to our contacts, if each sales rep can be connected to many contacts, we know many contacts is going to be our child table, and that's where we're going to place our connection field, which you'll see here. And when that's added, it's a one to many. And this is a very crucial step in continuing on to be able to show your logged in sales rep contacts that they have been assigned to. So we're getting into assignments in this workflow as well. So again, connections, very key feature functionality piece of Knack. It really unlocks a lot of great things once you get to pages and once they're in place. So now let's jump to pages. And you'll notice that we've got several pages here. And if you remember when we took a look at our live app, let's go back to our live app here and log in as the rep. We had dashboards, leads, proposals, customers won, and calendar. So if I jump back in here, you'll see I have dashboards, leads, proposals, customers won, tasks, and then the calendar here. Well, we don't necessarily have access. Our sales rep doesn't have access to this page here, and more on that in a bit. So again, we talked about pages and views and adding pages to your application. We add them from here. So whenever I add a new page, I can choose to add a public page or a login page. And then, or I can group those pages into a drop-down menu. You will notice with all that we have a lock here for our login pages. So all of these pages and the pages cascading below them are behind this login. They're locked, so you need to log in or authenticate. And so this particular dashboard here, or this page, is for our sales reps. And then as we go down, we can click on these actual pages with a lock on it, and you'll see the login form in relation to it. If I click on the login form, you can see I have some settings here. Again, we're following the same structure as we did with our adding tables, being able to add tables, and then on the left-hand side, being able to see those settings on the left-hand side. So again, we're looking at this login form here, and we have settings, and we can see, we can do some things. So again, your views, just like your fields, have quite a few settings. So don't be afraid to just click into things and give yourself time to kind of explore what settings are available. You'll see pencil icons, you'll see the three dots. Let yourself click on these things so you can see what's there. In these settings here for the login form, we can create a registration workflow if we wanted to. If we said yes, you'll see that there's a sign up link here, and I can actually navigate to this page and edit it and create a registration process for people. I can set it to pending approval so they can register, but they won't have access until I approve them. So you can build out that type of workflow as well. We can further limit pages to specific roles. So again, being able to have our reps log into this page, they're the only ones that have access to it. Knack is we're setting up our live app to do some things with this structure. So we're saying our sales reps have access to this page. So again, we'll have some different settings here. We have sales rep login, we have description that we can manage here as well. And this is where we had our email and password, so I can always remove that. Taking a step back, again, as the user logs in, they start to navigate to these pages that are cascading underneath it. And every cascading page refers to a link that you're going to from that parent page or the page right before it. So a page has been added. I can add views to the page. And I talked about earlier all the different views that you can add to your page to display your data, to add or to update your data. You'll see we have form views, we have grid views, which is what we're seeing here, the menu view, which this is here. That's where we're going to see these buttons here. We've even got reporting views and some e-commerce views. So lots of options here enabled to allow you to share your data with your users. You'll notice as I hover over on the right-hand side, I can click these and be taken right into some settings for that. So you'll see I have my rich text view WYSIWYG editor. Continue without saving. I can click into my menu view and continue to build out my menu view to add new links. And if you guys noticed when I did that, I have options to link to a new page. I can link to a page that already exists in my app. I can also link to a URL as well. So again, just a great way to be building out your continue to customize an existing app, or to continue to build out your own app and your own workflows. And again, our table views have their own set of settings. Everything from keyword search, we can enable that to give people options to be able to search. We can turn on record exporting if we wanted them to actually be able to export in the live app. We can turn on inline editing, which turns your grid into a spreadsheet, where the spreadsheet-like experience where they can click into a cell and make a change. So if we wanted them to click into the contact information and make a change, they could. We can even turn this off at the column level. Let's say we don't want them to change the contact. We can say allow inline filtering or editing, and we can say no. So again, you'll have all of these settings as I hover over. Do not be afraid to click on these to see what settings you have available. Display rules are really great. Record rules, again, are another great way to automate what happens when when a change is made within a field. So again, I can't stress enough how much exploring this is, how important it is to explore. You also have access to your connected fields. So once you have a connection set up, you can bring in fields from other tables. So you don't need to duplicate things. If you were looking to, I'm capturing the name here, but I also want to capture the name of my contact on my task table. You don't need to do that. You can come into here and say, look at my contact field on my contact table and pull in the phone number to the task. to the task table. So now I can see my contact name with the phone number. So there's ways to, again, with connections, to do these joins without having to write any code or anything like that. You have these fields available to you. Again, we can continue to add columns as well. We can add action links, which is if we already have the edit link here, but we can give our users a way to delete information as well as link to other pages or trigger actions that I talked about. So if we wanted to trigger an email to be sent and to update a status, we could do that even from our action links here. So a lot of cool features here. Again, I can't stress enough, please give yourself that freedom to click on everything. So this is how our pages are structured. Again, if we were adding a page from scratch, from the login, we can give permission to all users, or we can say, hey, we're going to limit this to our sales rep, and we're going to click continue, and we're going to create this new page. And it basically is a blank page for us. If I were to click on my go to my live app, this new page is blank. If I navigate around, you'll see that I have things on the pages that we've already taken a look at, but this page is blank. And now we can start building out what we want the user to see on this page. So let's say we wanted them to see a list of all the contacts that have been assigned to them. Because we've set up that relationship between the two, we can just click on contacts. Our login page knows about which group has access. So we can now say, okay, only show contacts connected to our logged in sales rep. And then we can continue to build out this view. We can say, yes, we want to give them edit access, or no, we don't want to give them edit access. We can add this at a later date. We can say, I want to show them details about this contact, but I also want to show them related information on that page. Maybe I want to show them a grid of all of the connect notes related to that contact. We can continue to build out what that page looks like. So if I click continue and add the grid, it really goes quite quickly, and then I can come in here and edit and change things as I see fit. But now you'll see I have this new page, and if I click to go to my live app, I can see now this information that's on my page. I can click on this contact and I can see the contact really quickly and the notes. So you can see how quickly you can build a Knack once you start to get the structure of it put together, in terms of putting your tables together, in terms of setting up your user groups, in terms of making the connections between all your data pieces, and then coming over here to rapidly build now those views. So it does take some getting familiar. Again, I can't, like I keep saying it, and hopefully I end up not sounding too redundant, but please give yourself time to explore and even play with these templates. Find one that matches your use case or that's close to it. And again, you always have us as a resource. Be mindful of the time. We do have only a few minutes left, and I've been keeping an eye out here on the chat and the Q&A area, and I haven't seen any questions come in. So pretty quiet group, and that is okay. So before we head out of here, I do want to show you around some other additional resources that we didn't touch upon here, but I want to you guys to see how you can get help with your application. So you may have noticed as we've been navigating around, you've got this help icon here, your question mark icon. You can click that question mark icon and you have lots of resources here, everything from the knowledge base. If you wanted more information about extending your app and integrating with other platforms, like I mentioned, Zapier, Integromat is now make.com, FormStacks, we have embed options, and our developer docs are here. So there's plenty of resources. If you get into Knack and you decide, you know what, I think I want to hire someone to build out my application, reach out to one of our experts. They have to show proficiency in our product before we let them become a part of our network. And you can work with them to do anything. They can build your app. You can work with them to consult, offer support and training in design and development. So jump in here, set your budget, preferred information here between language and your time zone and what specialty you need, and you can work with one of our developers. one of our Knack experts, I should say. Um, Further, you can always reach out into the community. Our experts are pretty active there as well. So if you've got questions, you can also reach out to the Knack community, especially when it comes to custom code. It's not something that we support within our team. When you reach out to support, it'd be great if we could dive into everyone's custom coded solutions, but we found that working with our experts, they're really the best resource when it comes to custom code. So there's a section in the knowledge base that, or not in the knowledge base, but in our community where you can reach out and ask questions around custom code. So again, this help icon is right here. Feel free to click on this icon and you'll see all of the resources there. So again, hopefully this information was helpful. This webinar was recorded, so this will be available to you to review at your own speed. And please let me know if you have any further questions. Don't hesitate to reach out to our team at onboarding@knack.com. Let me jump back in here. And I'm going to jump to this slide here. It dives into getting support. And I'll jump back on camera here. So again, thank you all for joining me today. If you have any further questions, reach out to us. Again, we're available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And you can reach out to us at onboarding@knack.com. Alrighty, have a great day. Bye, everyone.